Hi, my name is Beth Hiley here for BoardGameGeek, and I'm sitting with apparently a very bouncy Michael Fox from Hub Games.
Hello, Beth. Yeah, I've had sugar, so that's a bad sign. You know, I've got energy I need to get rid of, but I'll be all right. I'll be fine.
Well, speaking of energy, isn't that a nice segue to be talking about the newest title from Hub Games, which is Prisma Arena?
It's almost like you're a professional, and like you were superb segues. It's beautifully done. So yeah, the energy-filled, beautiful, bright arena combat game that you see before you, that's coming out in 2 weeks' time. Good Lord.
Excellent.
Is it really, really that soon?
So let's there's a lot to unpack in this game, and not only just how to play and what it's about, but also a lot of the development behind this, which is the part that I am really wanting to dig my teeth into as well. But let's start off with just what are we trying to accomplish surface-wise, and a little bit of how to play.
Cool. So storyline-wise, we are in a weird, strange, nebulous time where we are the new intake of trainees into this place called the Prisma Arena. So if we have a quick look, y'all can see there on the front of my my body top of the box up here. This is the Prisma Arena where we are going to be playing. And dotted underneath there is the actual physical embodiment of hope. So hope and despair and all the other emotions that sort of, that we feel in this universe are made real. So we are going to be channeling the power of hope, and we're going to be using the inner light that we've got, which we call Prisma in the game. And we'll be using that energy to train up and level ourselves up to become the greatest guardians that we can. So we can fight against despair, who's sort of like this large, lumbering, massive, we call them Mokons in the game, like the embodiments of the emotion. So despair sort of like lumbers across and takes things down as the world goes through these cycles of hope and despair and hope and despair. So at the minute, despair is coming. We need to prepare the world to try and fend it off as best as we can. And we'll do that by training inside the Prisma Arena, as you can see in front of you. So gameplay-wise, you've got a double-sided board for the two different versions of the game you can do. Most of the time, people who've seen videos before, they may have seen the one-on-one play that we have been doing a lot of, especially over on our Twitch channel. But on the flip side of the board, you can also do two-on-two play, team play, or for everybody against each other extravaganza. Lincoln, if I could ask you to hover your hands over the left-hand side to show off a few of those little characters, the main heroes. So these are the little Mokons that we've got there. There are 8 Mokon in the base game that will come out, like I said, in a couple of weeks' time. So these Mokon, they each represent a single emotion. The little red one there, for example, is called Farg. That is the embodiment of anger. Everybody when you're playing the 2-player game, so 1 versus 1, one hero will step up into the arena with 2 of these Mokon, and they're randomly allocated, so everybody will get 2 of these at the start of a fight. You then will set up the board, as you've already done there, by placing obstacles on the board. Those little sort of like green glowing things that sort of like give you a little bit of a different setup every single time you're going. It's a nice sort of like way to randomize things, keep things fresh. And then you'll start at opposite ends of the board. So there's 4 heroes you can see there, Lincoln. If you could grab one of them, maybe the big robot would be lovely. Perfect. There you go. So everybody will get one of these heroes. And one of the truly lovely things about Prisma Arena is that you essentially get to put yourself in the game. Once you get one of these heroes, they become your avatar in the arena. And you will customize them with one of these sticker sheets, as Lincoln is so beautifully showing off there. So I've actually got my little character here as well. So I'll put it up right close so people can have a look. So this is my current character in the battles that I'm going up against Rory, like we're playing every Friday. So this is Mio. She is a level 4 guardian. She's like the top level, and each of these stickers are removable as well. So I believe they call them what is it you folks haven't said? Color forms.
Color forms, yes. Mm-hmm.
Cool. So similar to like that. So these are fully removable, fully reusable. So at the very beginning of the game, you get your character, you grab one of the hero cards. Actually, Lincoln, could you grab a hero card so we could show that off to folks as well? The ones with not the characters, not with the Mocon, but the actual people. Yeah, one of them will do. That'd be cool. So if you have a look on that, so this is a standard hero card. On the other version of them, that's they're sort of laid out along the bottom of the screen there, you actually get to write your name on it, you get to name your character, and then you will add the stickers, customize your character, and then you throw yourself into battle, primed and ready to train up and level up and become the hero that you need to be. All right, how does the game work? That's the main thing. On your turn, you'll get to do one of 3 actions, and that's what those little triangular dials that you can possibly see there at the top of the screen are. So these are called action dials, and you will have them in front of your character cards, and you'll rotate them around to show what you want to do. So say, for example, you want to do a move, you just point it so the little blue move symbol is pointing towards the board, and then you'd be able to move up to the range shown on your character's card. So say, for example, it's a hero, their range is always 0 to 4. So they can move 4 spaces across the board from their starting spot. If you're standing next to somebody, in any of the spaces around you, the 8 adjacent spaces around you, you can do a strike. So that is where you just give them a quick whack with your lovely Prisma powered fists and give them a little bit of a knock, and that will do some hits on them. We don't sort of have any major this is not like a violent game. Think of this more like training and laser tag, except it gets a little bit more physical. You can also, if somebody is a little bit far away from you, like 2 to 4 spaces, you can do a blast. So you charge up your Prisma blaster and straight away, and then again you do some more hits on them. Heroes can take 6 hits, the Mocon can take 4 hits, but the moment you hit that top level of they can take no more hits, they are bounced off the board. Basically they despawn, they're gone, you take them off the board, but then they will come back into the fray immediately the next time they get to activate, the next time you get to flip one of those little dials around. On top of that, as you play, you will level up. Lincoln, there's a card there that you've got that you just had your hand on. It's one of the hero cards. If you could grab that and put it in underneath the shower. So this is the campaign card, basically. This will keep track of how your hero is doing. So like I said at the top, you can put your hero name there, you put your player name there. But Lincoln, if you could please flip it to its opposite side, you will see how we track things. Okay, so not mad clear, but I promise you it's properly visible when you have them in your hands. The idea behind this is every time you are involved in a game, you will fill in the spots on these different areas. Okay, so when you fill in one complete line, you will level up from level 1 to level 2, or level 0 to level 1, really. And then you can go from level 1 to level 2, level 2 to level 3, level 3 to level 4. As you play more and more matches, as you win more and more, or even as you just take part, you will continue to level up. And leveling up allows you to really, truly make your character unique, in that you will then start grabbing powers. Now, I'm not going to ask you to do this, Lincoln, don't worry, but on the opposite side of the board, because the board is in 2 parts, as a matter of fact, I can get my copy out and show you all on here. But yeah, on the opposite side of the board, there is a little bit that, I grab it out of here, super prepared. You can see the center of the board is darkened there, but in my version of the game, there it is. So that's the normal version of the board that you can see there. But once at least one person has leveled up to level 1, like hope activates and starts instilling and imbuing power and abilities into you. So when you bump onto the middle of the board, I'll just put my copy up there. Yoink. So when you go onto the middle of the board, if you end your turn in that center space, like the power of hope completely overwhelms you, and then you grab some power cards. So those are the cards that are on the left-hand side of the view screen at the minute. So we've got level 1s, we've got level 2s, we've got level 3s. You'll take 3 of these and you choose which one you want to keep. And once you've got it, that's it. It's yours forever, which is really, really lovely. And then you start combining them with different, with different abilities, different levels. So say, for example, you are a level 1 fighter. You can have at any time 1 level 1 power active at that moment. Once you level up to level 2, you can then either have a level 2 power, and that one there, Zippy, is currently Rory's favorite because it lets him run across the board an awful lot quicker than me. Alternatively, you can take 2 of the level 1 powers. And then, of course, you bump up again to level 3. And it's like, oh, well, okay, now I've got to start making some decisions. Do I take one of these nice, hefty level 3 powers, which can turn me into an absolute monster or a tank? Or do I grab 3 level 1s and have them on at the same time? Or a 2 and a 1? That kind of thing. But you always keep these powers on you. You always have them available at the start of the game. So you can choose and mix and match what sort of approach you want to take in the game at that time. So when you're all finished, it's done by scoring 20 points. So when at least one person scored 20 points, that ends the game. You will then track how well you did by marking on the back of your little pad, your little card, and then up there in the top right. And now this is actually quite nice for me because this is the first time I've ever seen these. Everybody will get these little bags because my ones are all see-through because these were not done in time for my one. So I get a plastic see-through one like that, but y'all get the really, really nice sort of like fully printed up version of the Prisma Arena holders. So you'll stash your cards in there, you stash your powers, you stash your character standing in there as well. And the idea is that we wanted it to be able to be at like a friend's house or play at a local store. And you don't need to bring the whole game with you. You can just bring your little bag with the stuff in it. On top of that, with the you also get more and more different stickers that you can access. And if you want to remove them, you can store them in that little locker that's over there to the right-hand side of the screen. And that's kind of it, really. I know that's like a huge amount of information loaded on, but that's it. That's how it goes.
One of the things that struck me so keenly when I took a look at this game back in February was that one of the philosophies that you guys at Hub Games always follow is making games as inclusive as possible. And one of the things that I loved from one of your earlier games was it Untold, that you had a mechanic where you could pause the game if someone just didn't have the personality that would be as vocal as others. And I remember thinking, like, that's amazing. And I like how you brought that same philosophy here as well, where the 4 heroes, they can be any gender, they can be non-binary, they can be not human. The fact that you play with all emotions, because we all feel all emotions, and they're all useful. They all serve a purpose.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, the idea behind having the gender neutral characters at the very beginning was very important to all of us at Hub Games. And I love the fact that I could take my character and I could make them female, I could make them male, I could make them anywhere I wanted to on the gender spectrum. And it's fantastic. We also have, obviously, people of different skin color as well. There is, okay, I can kind of say this because we've already designed it. There is also potentially going to be more characters that would be available. And my favorite one is the one who is in basically a floating hover chair, and it is badass as anything. So I cannot wait for people to start seeing that. That's going to be really, really good. But yeah, you can dress them up however you like, but they are they're you. You know, they're the representation of you and how you want to play, how you want to look, how you want to feel. Combine that with the powers that you get, and this is, you know, it's going to be a unique version of you when you're playing it. And it's true what you said about the emotion stuff as well. You know, all emotions have value. You know, we might sort of like say, hey, you should be getting angry at people, or, you know, oh, jealousy is bad. But there's positive and negative sides to each emotion that you have. And we wanted to really push that in the game, that the emotions that will be accompanying you into the arena, their special abilities very much reflect what they are. So say, for example, like, so I mentioned Farg earlier, the little red dude. Where he represents anger. And when he gets knocked out, it's interesting that we always call him he. When he gets knocked out of the arena, the player who's sort of like, you know, their hero, sort of like feels this rush of rage and lashes out against something else in the arena. So they can do a strike or a blast on anything that's within range. So you're kind of hoping that one of your opponent's Mocon or the opponent hero is going to be within range. So if gets knocked out, boom, they can, you know, get a little extra dig in. However, if nobody on the opposing side is in range, but your other Mocon is, then all of a sudden you're responsible for wiping your own Mocon off of the arena and giving points to the other player, which you know, that's anger, baby. That's how it goes. Sometimes it can be useful for positive stuff, and sometimes it's not. But yeah, it's beautiful, and the way they combine. So because you get two of them in the one-on-one game, the combinations of the different things can be incredibly powerful. We're still sort of like seeing people. Well, obviously, we've been working on this for 2 years, over 2 years, and seeing people come up with like these really, really incredible, like, we never thought of that sort of strategies, has been absolutely amazing, absolutely wonderful. And obviously when the game is now getting out to stores and getting out to a wider market, it's going to be crazy. So like just to see, I can't wait to walk into a game and sort of like see somebody go do something I would never have considered ever possible, and just sort of like stand back and go, yeah, you get the Shia LaBeouf clap, and then you sort of like I stand up and go, yeah, you've done it. You've impressed us all. So yeah, it's cool and it's lovely. And yeah, like I said, it comes out on November the 13th. We're very excited.
Well, and going back to that emotional piece too, I mean, I think this is a hallmark of Hub Games, most notably with Holding On, The Tale of Billy Kerr, that was a game about exploring memories and emotions and the connection between the two. And I think one of the things that publishers commonly do is they figure out that interaction between theme and mechanics, but I feel like what you guys are really good at is that you juggle those two plus emotion on top of that, and how it is the umbrella that causes those other two to possibly interact. And that's something I felt was notable here, as you mentioned that even though this is technically a battle game, you are training to be the best version of yourself. So if you lose, you still learn something. And
yeah,
that was all. Even you get that through the rule book. I got that through talking with you and Rory, and I was just kind of like impressed enough that I just shook my camera.
There you go. Well, I mean, that's very kind of you to say. We do have that sort of underlying thing at Hub Games where everything we make has heart. It is often very weird to try and describe that to people, but then they sit down and they play our games, whether it's like, you know, Prisma Arena, all the way back to, you know, Untold, Holding On, whatever. They'll get that moment, and that they'll see what we mean by this is a game with heart. It not only is going to be entertaining for you to play and an enjoyable experience, but it will make you potentially think a bit, and not in like a preachy, like awful way, because we've all seen games like that and they're very bad. We don't do that. We want the good games that make you think, but also you are happy to actually get them off the shelf again and play them again and again and again.
I'm not surprised at all to hear you describe that people need to play it, because I think the feeling it is the important part. I mean, isn't that the piece that you need to connect with something to feel like it has heart? Is you have to feel it and not think it, and that probably requires them to get their feet wet and try it out first.
Yeah, and if people do want to try it out, they can do so. It's on Tabletopia at the moment, so folks can actually go and play it right there, right now, without having to lay out a penny before it's even in store shelves. And you can give it a good go. Obviously, we stream it as well a couple of times a week over on our Twitch channel, which I will shamelessly plug now. We are Hub Games, and yeah, it's been really lovely, actually. We've done a whole load of streaming over the course of the SPIEL.digital weekend, and it's been great having people interact with us and tell us what they think about the game, and seeing how excited they are for it. And really, that's probably the best thing we could ask for over the whole weekend, is just getting people hyped for its release.
And look at who's good at the segues now.
I've been doing this
friend.
a while. Come on, Beth.
Well, the last thing I would love for you to mention too, which I had talked about a little bit right before we went live, was that there's also a bit of a deeper world building in this, more than just your training to become Guardians of Hope and you're fighting against despair. Is that there was actually a whole piece of a little bit more about despair as an entity.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, the idea behind that is Rory, who's the co-designer of the game, along with John Fiore. He also worked with him on Untold Adventures Away, actually. The idea is, yeah, the world is a lot deeper than what you see right now, just like from the front of the box or whatever. These giant titans, these huge Mokon, they are alive, and they will go into hibernation and they will come back again. So at the minute, despair is, stalking the land, and that is ushering in a time of, time of darkness. So you, as the sort of like the final, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, you're like the final stand, like the last bastion, by using that light, trying to fight against it. But despair will go. Despair will be vanquished and will go into hibernation, will go away. And then hope is the next one. Hope is the next thing to come out. So not that we've been planning or anything, but, there is lots of storyline work happening back at the office where what happens after Prisma Arena? What happens when you are a fully trained up Guardian? So with that, when hope comes alive again, eventually that goes sort of like into I can never remember what the one after hope is, but it is a one might say a negative thing, but yeah, it becomes more of complacency. That's the one. So you have despair at the moment, that'll be replaced with hope. When everybody's sort of like super happy with hope, they become complacent, and then they have to start working on the complacency. So the cycle starts going through anew and anew and anew. So yeah, it's interesting sort of like seeing Rory just coming up with incredible storyline stuff. He is actually going to be doing some weird combos with Prisma Arena versus Untold. So he's going to be doing some streams where he will be actually building on the world that he's created by using the Untold system.
That's really
so we were
neat.
talking about that earlier today. That'd be really, really cool, just watching him just freestyle stuff off the top of his head.
Right, yeah. From the brain of Rory O'Connor.
From the person who brought you the saddest board game of all time. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, this is way more sort of like positive and bright and beautiful, though. I mean, as you can see, we wanted to take all the best bits of like stories that we loved about being small but still being important, and you having an effect on the world around you. So yeah, we took inspiration from stuff like Steven Universe, and like it just wanted to give you people that bright, beautiful feeling that you can have an impact. And I hope when people give it a shot that they'll see that, yeah, it is that game with heart, and we've done our best to sort of show you that you can be you can be the best you can be.
Well, Michael, I think that's a great line to end on. A big thanks to you. A big thanks to Rory, who I can see is in the chat as well, for always giving us some of the depth of thinking and feeling that you put into all of your designs and the heart that goes into it. So thank you again.
Thank you for having us, and have a lovely rest of the show.